right, everyone, welcome to the webinar. My name is Susie Lee, and I serve as the Director of Strategic Initiatives. If you're not familiar with Forefront, we are the only statewide association in the U.S. that represents both grant makers and nonprofits, as well as their advisors and allies. Our mission is to build a vibrant social impact sector for all the people of Illinois. We do this by providing education, advocacy, and research, and by mobilizing our members around campaigns that advance the sector. Before we dive into today's content, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Everyone's phone lines are muted to keep background noise to a minimum. We do welcome your questions, though, so please take a moment and locate the chat box. Mine is on the lower left corner of my screen. Please type any questions you have there, and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. We are recording this webinar, and we'll share the link with you afterward in case you'd like to review the presentation or share it with those that weren't able to join us today. And with that, I will turn it over to my co-presenter, Bridget.
GiveGab, your tech partner from GiveGab on the customer success team, and we're really here to help you through this process and make sure that you have everything you need to be successful on I'll Give on Giving Tuesday. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about more creative ideas that you can utilize on your giving day to think outside the box of maybe what you normally do during this time of year on Giving Tuesday. And one of my favorite parts about this presentation is actually all of the best practices that we've pulled from giving days that GiveGab does throughout the year, and some really fun and interesting things that nonprofits have tried, from different storytelling techniques to challenges to motivate their supporters, to how to actually take the giving day offline on Giving Tuesday. So that you can really utilize your community and empower them behind this movement. And then we'll also point you towards some resources and tools that you can use to prepare for the day. And then, of course, as Susie said, please feel free to utilize that questions box on your control panel, and we will have time at the end to answer any questions you have about the presentation, about I'll Give, or about GiveGab. So how do we actually start the process of building a creative campaign? I know everyone wants to utilize this day in the best way possible for your organization and your needs. So it can be a little daunting when someone's already coming at you with ways to go even beyond that and say, how do we turn that into something creative? But it's really not as stressful as it sounds. I'll Give on Giving Tuesday, and any giving day that you participate in, is really an opportunity for you to try new things, to have fun, to motivate supporters to rally around things that you're already doing in a new and exciting way. So don't be afraid to try new things on Giving Tuesday for I'll Give, but also think about how you can find creative solutions to goals that you already have in place. If you already have some events or appeals happening around this time of year, maybe you don't want to overwhelm people with too many things at once, figure out a great way that you can tie in those existing goals, those existing events and campaigns into I'll Give to help you kind of utilize the movement and the marketing power and just the general feeling of I'll Give to really excite your supporters and leverage that momentum for those existing projects. Taking the giving day offline is something we've really found can be a powerful way to get your supporters to recognize the movement. Even I'll Give is mostly happening online on Giving Tuesday. That doesn't mean you can't ignite your community offline as well. And we're going to be talking about a couple different ways that you can do this on the giving day. But think about it as a way to really motivate your supporters in whatever way that you find will be the most impactful for the work that you're doing at this time of year, or that really works for the type of supporters you're generally communicating with, to make it fun for everyone involved. So some questions to ask yourself as you're beginning to plan this campaign out. Maybe you've participated in I'll Give in the past, you've learned some things, and this year you really want to take it to the next level, or just step outside your comfort zone a little bit. So start to think about whether or not there is a common theme at your storytelling. So if you are, sharing about specific programs or people, think about what that common theme is and really tack on to that in a way to really expand on your promotions that really emphasizes, what that theme is and how your supporters can jump on to that momentum to help you continue telling more stories like that. Thinking about how your donors generally prefer to be engaged with. This is really important in all aspects of your Giving Day preparation. It's really going to affect, how you build out your communications plan and how you develop a strategy to engage with them leading up to and on the Giving Day. So if you know your supporters respond really well on Facebook but never check their emails, that's going to affect the type of campaign you run on AllGive. Think about those existing opportunities. If your annual appeal, goes out this time of year, maybe you have another event, a gala, a campaign that's running around AllGive, or a program that you can leverage. Think about those existing opportunities that you can tie into AllGive so you're not adding, an extra thing to fundraise for. I hear that a lot from nonprofits participating in a Giving Day that say, well, I really want to participate, but I already have XYZ going on and I don't want to overwhelm people. And my response to that is always that a Giving Day really doesn't deter people from supporting the programs that you already have in place, but actually motivates them to learn more about them, or can pull people from different points, whether it's on your website, on your giving profile, on your social media pages, bringing in those new folks who maybe aren't already supporting an organization to learn about those opportunities, to get them excited about those existing opportunities so you're not creating something from scratch. And also think about what will really get your your supporters, I kind of like calling them exciters though now too, your supporters to be a part of the AllGive movement. So whether that is, a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, you have a very competitive board who wants to, kind of compete for that top fundraiser prize on the day, or maybe you do have a really strong volunteer base and you can hold a volunteer opportunity on AllGive and have everyone join you at that space to, see your mission in action. There are lots of different ways that you can leverage your supporters and how they engage with your organization already to actually grow as a supporter base and as an organization and as a team to really share your mission with those people and get them excited about the AllGive movement, because overall it is a really fun experience. I'm sure many of you have probably participated in AllGive in the past or another Giving Day, and it is a lot of fun to be had from your end as well as from the supporters' end, especially on Giving Tuesday when everyone is really a part of this movement together and it continues to grow year after year. So some strategies to think about as you're developing this plan, and pretty much with everything you want to do leading up to AllGive, is to think about what your goals for the day are. When you think about your goals as the first step in everything that you do leading up to AllGive, it's really going to streamline your strategy so that you're always putting those goals first. Because depending on what goal you have, whether it's a donor-specific goal or a dollar amount you're looking to raise, or maybe a social media engagement goal, those are all very specific and will therefore have very specific strategies that will help you achieve them. So when you have those specific goals, think about those first so that then everything you do following ties back to those overarching goals and can help you develop a more streamlined plan when you have those in place at the beginning, as opposed to coming up with all these fun, creative things to do and then coming back at the end and saying, oh, well, this didn't actually help us reach a donor goal. We just raised a lot of money, but only 4 people gave a lot of money. So that's something really important to think about. Also think again about your supporters. What interests them, what excites them, how do they like to be communicated with. This is really a day not only just to celebrate your mission and your cause, but to celebrate your supporters, to give them a pat on the back for being the heroes that they are, for supporting you, and making it as fun as possible to support you. And I think that's something that the Giving Day really helps with. It does make giving really easy and really fun so that you can make it more inclusive to people who are looking to support your organization. Because Giving Tuesday is pretty much the one day of the year where people are actually looking for organizations to support. So this is a great opportunity to leverage that and get people excited about what you're sharing. And then lastly, always thinking about your capacity. I'm going to be sharing a lot of different ideas from organizations of all shapes and sizes. So you do want to think about before you really jump into this campaign, what your strategy is, how many resources you have, how many people will be assisting you planning for AllGive, if you have any volunteers or staff members or friends or family members, anyone who can really help you on this day. And think about maybe if you are planning to do some incentives or promotions, what you want your return on investment to be. And thinking again, going back to those goals, what is really important for you to get out of this campaign. And the more you think about all of these things, not just as you kind of get creative about AllGive, but in pretty much everything you do leading up to a giving day can really help you and your supporters see that unified strategy that's going to make it easier for them to understand what you're trying to achieve and how they can help you achieve it. So now we're going to talk a little bit about some best practices that we've seen from organizations participating in Giving Days on GiveGab. And first we're going to talk about ways in which organizations told their stories in really creative ways. Some of you have probably utilized Facebook's Live tool. I think it's been in the past year. I think last Giving Tuesday was the first time we really saw this feature become more popular and become more easy to use. And I think it is such a fantastic way, especially during a 24-hour giving event, to really highlight your mission in action. And you can do that in a couple ways. One thing I really do love about Facebook Live is that, yes, it is immediate content. All of your supporters will get a little Facebook notification when you go live. You don't have to do anything. Facebook does it automatically, which I love, saying that you're live so that they can watch it in real time with you. But if they aren't able to catch it when you are live, that video does become accessible on your Facebook profile after the fact. So that is really great content that you can create on the fly and still have access to even after you've gone live. And I've seen organizations go live for so many different things, whether it's an event that was being held, a happy hour event at the end of the event, people celebrating with their board, just kind of showing off the room, having people, cheer and show off their AllGive swag. Or I remember last Giving Tuesday, there was an organization that it was a really quick video. Maybe they went live for 2 or 3 minutes. And they actually just went outside their space. They had, a little office building. They stepped outside and they did a little tree lighting of their building on Giving Tuesday to kind of kick off the holiday season. And it was just a really delightful video. It didn't, go too in depth on the work that they did or, how donors could do anything. But it was really just saying, thank you, support us, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. All of that great stuff to make those supporters, see that content and engage with them on that Giving Day. You can give a tour of your space. I've seen organizations that have less glamorous missions, like scientific or research organizations giving a backstage tour of all the different labs, interviewing the lab technicians about what they're working on. That's a really easy thing to do. You can go around your office space, interview the people that work in your office, talking about what they do and why they love to do it throughout the day. You can interview your beneficiaries, asking them, how their life has been changed from your organization if you have that ability. If you have a volunteer opportunity on the event, that's a great way to document your mission literally in action. Or again, if you have any other in-person events going on in that day, just to show people and include them if they weren't able to attend in person, going live is a great way to remain inclusive with them in this way. It's also a great way to announce a prize or match. If you do have a power hour or something like that, it can be a lot of fun to really emphasize that power hour with a super big push of social media posts, go live, be on all the different platforms, send out emails, all that fun stuff, so you can really get your supporters excited and able to see that you're participating in multiple places. So next is how to utilize that 24-hour period to tell kind of a 24-hour story arc. And a few examples here, Badass Brooklyn Animal Rescue is one. I love this story because they did really utilize the entire 24-hour period of Giving Tuesday. They started the morning off using social media to kind of post updates throughout their journey, driving down to Georgia to a kill shelter to rescue dogs who were going to be euthanized. And as they were going through this journey, as they rescued the dogs, put them in the vans, they were taking photos, taking videos, immediately sharing them to Facebook. all of this great stuff, documenting the whole process so that by the end of the day, a lot of these dogs already had people who had sent in applications to adopt them. So it was a really great way to highlight what they actually do. You know, they lived their mission on Giving Tuesday. They drove down to a kill shelter, they rescued all these dogs, they adopted these dogs, they gave them names, they made it really fun for people to engage with during the 24-hour period. So it can be a really great way to utilize that entire 24-hour giving day to tell your organization's story in a way that does still connect to your mission and get people to kind of follow you from the beginning of the day till the end. And another example of this is Stop Children's Cancer. They did an amazing job of telling this girl's story. Her name was Kaylin, and she was a cancer survivor who began cancer treatment when she was 3 years old. So it was a really heart-wrenching story. And at the beginning of the event, they started by talking about her diagnosis, what that was like for her and her family. And as the day progressed, they shared moments of her cancer journey, from attending events to going through chemo to finally at the end of the event showing her with ringing the remission bell, taking all these great photos of her over these couple of years that she was going through this process. It was really powerful to see over a 24-hour period. Obviously, this happened over a couple years, but to see this story being told, people were constantly coming back and checking in to see, how it would play out if they hadn't heard the story already. And by the end, when they had seen that, it had such a positive impact on this person's life, it really did motivate a lot of people to give at that time. And not only that, but you started to see the engagement increase from post to post to post over the event because more people were paying attention to the story and following throughout the day. Another way to really tell your organization's story in a unique way is to create your own campaign hashtag or theme or something fun that kind of brands the campaign you're running specifically. This is one I really love from the Children's Book Bank in Oregon, and it was the Inspire Jasper campaign. And Jasper was a student with speech delay. He had a lot of trouble reading until he went to the Children's Book Bank and found a story that he was able to read multiple times, cover to cover, and it absolutely inspired him to keep reading. And the book bank leveraged that through an entire social media campaign where they encouraged people to use the hashtag InspireJasper to share books that they wanted him to, or that they were inspired by, that they hoped other people would be inspired by. So it was a fun way to get people involved and kind of make it a little personal on their end, so I could say what books inspired me or what books I hoped other people would be inspired by, but still connecting to what the organization actually did, which is encouraging people to read, to get children to be more comfortable reading and get them reading early. So it was a really fun campaign with a really powerful impact to show what these books could actually do for these people. Another organization that played on the hashtag idea was the Columbia Land Trust, also in Oregon. They created a mini persona of their executive director named Nature Glenn, and it was a really fun way for them to show the different lands that they were protecting throughout the area. So they took pictures with a little doll and all these different places, and people could click on that hashtag, whether they were on Facebook or Twitter or wherever they were sharing these out, and see where Nature Glen was at any point throughout the day. And one of the things I really loved about this campaign was a lot of it can be done ahead of time. So if you're not going to be able to go travel all over the place and do a lot of these things during the 24-hour period, taking these photos is something they easily could do prior to the day and then have them ready to share out during that 24-hour period. So not only are people, paying attention to this fun little character who's looks like their executive director and is kind of traveling all over the place, but they're also getting a chance to see all of those protected areas and why they're so important. Maybe a little story attached to each image so people could follow along throughout the day and really see what their impact could be. Next, I want to talk a little bit about creative challenges. So this is focusing on how to gamify your giving day and really make it a fun experience for your supporters to have a little friendly competition and engage in a way that's a little outside of the box. So speaking of friendly competition, our friends at the Alcohol and Drug Council of Tompkins County really utilize those peer-to-peer fundraising tools to leverage their board members to compete for a top fundraising prize. You can see here on the right a picture of those prizes, and really simple, some dollar store back scratchers, a mug, some swag, little trophies that had the Giving Day branding all over them. And this might not look like much, but these board members fought over these prizes like I can't even tell you. They were so ramped up over winning this prize. And you can award, it doesn't have to be anything major. Clearly it can be, back scratchers and trophies from the dollar store, maybe a movie gift card, membership benefits. You can pretty much think of anything and people will want to compete for it. So if you are interested in utilizing peer-to-peer fundraising tools, this is definitely a fun way to promote that friendly competition, have people sharing out those personal fundraising pages where their friends and family can donate to their campaign, but that's all tied to their to your AllGive profile, so it all counts towards your totals, but they're still able to have that personal page, share their personal stories, and be on that peer-to-peer leaderboard. So if you want to focus it more on, who's the top fundraiser, who can raise the most on the day, this is a really fun way to do it. And you don't necessarily have to incentivize your fundraisers, but we do find that it really can help your overall success on the day if those fundraisers do have kind of a goal in mind, whether it's a specific dollar amount or a prize at the finish line. Another example of really powerful peer-to-peer fundraising, I love this story. It's from the Habitat for Humanity Golden Empire in Bakersfield, California. And a staff member of the Habitat for Humanity's son loved what his dad did. He was really inspired that people, the people at the Habitat for Humanity were building houses for people that, didn't have a home. And he really just simply wanted to make sure that people had a home. It was a really sweet story, and he's a little nervous about it. He wasn't sure, should I have my son have this fundraising page and then he doesn't meet his goal? What do I say? Like, what happens if he doesn't raise $100? And he ended up raising a lot more than his goal because as more people started seeing the story of the boy who was fundraising for Habitat for Humanity on a giving day, they were really inspired that someone so young could be so empowered to, change the world and help people in his community. So he exceeded his goal by, I think, over a couple $100, and it was shared widely among the community. You can see it even made the paper. People were so inspired by this little boy and his fundraising effort. So anyone can be a peer-to-peer fundraiser. It's really easy, and really easy to just share your story of why you're so passionate about the work and why it's so important that other people in your network also support it. Another way to kind of gamify your giving day is to create some donation incentives. So some fun things you can do around this are utilizing donations as a unique entry for a specific competition, or maybe you're looking for kind of a poll to cast votes for something. Let's say you want to vote to see what the principal will have to dress up as. You can ask people to leave their favorite superhero in the comments like you see here on the right. And that will help you determine, the donors essentially choosing who gets to be what. You can have a little friendly competition here as well with people, continuing to donate just because they want to see, their auction chosen as the winner. Additionally, because you're participating in AllGive on Giving Tuesday through the GiveGab platform, your donors automatically receive a customized thank you receipt that's not only AllGive branded, but also has information about your organization that you can customize. And what I love about these emails is not only does it confirm that a donor made a contribution during AllGive, but it also can act as kind of a golden ticket. If you have maybe cross promotions with different businesses, or you want to utilize that in some way, maybe to attend an event or get $1 off somewhere, you can utilize that donation receipt as an entry to some other incentive that your donors can utilize. So by utilizing that donation receipt, you do have something tangible to build on. And again, all of this information is really easy to determine as well through your donation report download. So if you're not sure how to manage this on the back end, it is super easy to keep track of all these things. And it can just be a fun way to get your supporters excited and let them know that when they donate, there is some benefit besides just feeling awesome. Social media is really popular with online giving, as you probably know. Developing a social media strategy is really important if you are on social media, which hopefully you're on at least Facebook, which we find is probably the most popular platform. But you can utilize social media not just to share your posts, but to actually create a little competition or get people to share stories in a way. Thanks to hashtags, these are really easy to find and pull, so if people are using a specific hashtag, similar to those storytelling ones like Inspire Jasper, it is really easy for you as an organization manager or a supporter who's just poking around to click on that hashtag and see all of the different posts of all the people that are using it. So you can use it as a way to say, please use the hashtag, why I give, to share, why you made your contribution today, or maybe you do have a unique hashtag that's focused on your I'll Give campaign. Ask people to use that. Maybe if they do use that, you can enter them into some kind of drawing or incentive to get them to share things on social media. That's always a great way to get more engagement online. And just thinking of creative ways to utilize those hashtags in a way that's easy for you to track and easy for your supporters to quickly post something besides just I'll Give. And don't forget to use that I'll Give hashtag, because when you use the hashtag I'll Give, it is featured on the I'll Give tag board on allgive.com. And this might be one of my favorite parts of the Giving Day, is getting to see everyone's awesome posts in one place. Especially during a 24-hour period, you have everything from people getting ready and getting psyched up, to events, to donors, to people saying thank you, to videos. It is so fun. And as we get closer to the day, you will see this on the site. So make sure to use the hashtag I'll Give in everything that you're sharing out leading up to and on the day, so that your amazing content can be featured on that I'll Give site. And all of these potential donors will be visiting the site. Pretty much everyone who visits allgive.com will be looking at this tag board. So it's a great way to come together as a nonprofit community and show off all of the great things that you're sharing out in one place. Probably one of the most effective ways you can challenge your donors is through a match. And you probably know typically matches are a monetary amount that is matched, but you can actually get creative with the way you matched. I've seen recently social engagement matches becoming a lot more popular. So let's say there's a big business or organization that's willing to sponsor a social match. Maybe they have a big following, and what they'll do is they'll offer to donate a certain amount. We'll offer $1 per like up to this much. What that does is actually encourages the organization and all of its supporters to share out that business's post to all their friends, saying, hey, please like this post, or please share this, so that for every time you like it, we're getting $1. And it might not seem like a lot, even if it's only $100. Just being able to have that shared. People don't they don't have to do a lot. They just have to like it. They feel like they're doing something. And the business who originally posted it gets much more exposure, so it's a great way to kind of cross-promote each other in that way. They're getting a lot more visibility on different networks. You're getting people to like and share your content, supporting you in that way. So it can be a really fun way to utilize social media on the Giving Day that I've seen become a lot more popular. You can also have a match specifically for new donors. I hear from a lot of organizations that there's always a need to find and retain new donors. And a great way to do that is actually to motivate them to give for the first time on I'll Give through a new donor match. So for every new donor you acquire, maybe their gift is doubled. So you can really highlight that impact of joining your organization fresh and encourage more new donors to give. And again, that's really easy to see if you have a donor database. Hopefully, you keep track of those email addresses or who's already supported your organization. You can compare that with who's donated to your campaign on I'll Give, and it's really easy to kind of see who those new donors are, and after the fact, thank them for their first donation and let them know that because they were a new donor, that gift was matched. And that's a great stepping stool to begin that relationship with that new donor, by just saying, because you gave for the first time, you actually gave twice. So that is a really fun thing to do if you're looking to build on that new donor retention. I've also seen board engagement matches become popular. These are popular if they're funded through maybe a foundation or a big business, or someone who really wants to see your board step it up. So by encouraging all of your board members to support you on, I'll Give on Giving Tuesday, maybe a special incentive if each board member decides to give you unlock a match or something for your organization, that can really motivate your board members to get more involved, because I know that's something that a lot of organizations struggle with. So those are just a few fun, creative matches to think about to enable besides just, a one-to-one dollar match or donor match. So now we're going to talk a few ways in which you can really engage your community and take the giveaway online in a couple ways to have fun on I'll Give on Giving Tuesday. And one of the biggest and best ways to do this, I think, is to actually engage your business community. A giving day really utilizes everybody, and that means it should also utilize your business community. Even though they're not nonprofits, they have a lot to offer and are often looking for opportunities to get more involved with the nonprofit sector. And if you're not sure, who to even ask, engage with about building stronger business relationships, I always say start with board members. There's probably at least one person on your board who knows at least one business owner in your community or someone with a connection that can help you expand your promotions on the giving day. Whether it's asking a business to display a poster or handouts in their place of business. Again, utilizing those donation receipts to unlock a special deal. I've seen organizations partner with bars or restaurants to show hey, here's a screenshot of my donation receipt, and when they show that to the bartender, they'll get $1 off their drink, or little things like that to offer incentive to those who've donated. I know many franchises offer those fundraising nights that you can host where a portion of all the profits from dinner that night will go towards your organization. If you can plan enough in advance, I know sometimes those can book up pretty quickly. I'm sure on Giving Tuesday they probably will. But even think about partnering with a more local business. It doesn't have to be a big franchise. Figuring out a way that you can work together to bring more people to the restaurant, but also have more people supporting your cause. Another great way to utilize businesses is actually leveraging their social media following. Businesses often have a very different following than nonprofits or people, and they do have a great reach within your community. So ask them to share on a post about I'll Give or about your organization, and think about how you can help them by helping you by putting their logo on your website, or sharing a graphic out with all your sponsors on it, or thanking them in multiple different places. It's a great way to just show that you're connected with your community, both the nonprofit community and the business community, in a way that you're all helping each other and coming together to make sure more people know about this movement and how important it is to support their local nonprofit community. Some other ways to partner with your business community, of course, securing a sponsored matching donation from a business. A lot of businesses, you'd be surprised, are already offering matches or are pretty ready to offer some kind of incentive either to all donors or just their employees, something to really motivate people and inspire them to give and see the importance of giving. They can also provide, discounted goods, services. Maybe you have an event that you're doing and they offer, to give all the, the hour you're in the space away for free as a donation. Things like that are a great way to work together to do something good. And definitely start talking to your board members, your business community members as early as you can, so that you can find a happy medium of what works best for you and what works best for the business, so that your relationship can continue to grow over time and you're not exhausting all of your resources and all of your connections on this one thing, where it can really benefit you over a long period of time. Living your mission in action is, of course, I've said this already like probably a million times in this presentation, but it's one of the best ways to highlight your organization's work and inspire supporters to give. Volunteer opportunities are a great way to do this. I love this graphic from Idaho Gives. They had people come to an event and actually help them. I think it was like a crafting group for senior citizens, and they had people kind of come to the space and help them sew a quilt. So each person kind of had their own little patch. They had a big Idaho Gives patch in the middle. A lot of fun, still tied to the work they were doing, but encouraged people to stop by throughout the day. It didn't take them too long to do a full activity. They just had to kind of sew in one patch or create their own little piece. But then together at the end, it really did make something beautiful that showed off that organization's mission really well, but also got people involved in that way on the Giving Day. Volunteer opportunities are also a hot spot for awesome photo taking. Again, you're living your mission. So if it is, if you're shoveling things or, you're putting things away, no matter what your volunteers are actually doing on the day, even if they're just calling people, it's a great opportunity to take photos of those volunteers, have them wave at the camera, say thank you to the donors. So if you're lacking content, volunteer opportunities are a great way to get those people who are invested in your organization by giving their time, highlighting that support, as well as showing others how they can get involved and how those supporters are actually making your mission possible at that moment. Looks like my slides might be a little frozen. One moment, please. I'm not sure if my slide is coming through. Let's see.
Bridget, I made the switch to the slide that has the green balloons in the top photo. Is that the one you want to be on?
That is correct. Thank you. I'm not seeing it on my end. Sorry about that.
I can forward if you need me to. No problem.
Oh, thanks so much, Susie. All right. Almost at the end, but the last, one of the most fun things you can probably do on a giving day is actually have your supporters right in front of you. Again, great opportunity to thank them for supporting you, to get them excited about a particular program or something like that. It is a really fun way to get involved with your supporters. And again, taking more photos, having more content. You can see here there are some photo booths, people taking pictures. It's also a great opportunity to leverage other nonprofits that are participating in the day. And maybe let's say you're not ready to all participate in an event, or you're not ready to all commit to having your own event space, maybe partnering with a couple different nonprofits, all going in on maybe a deposit for an hour or two at an event, all coming, having your own tables, bringing all of your supporters to one large event so that you can all kind of be in it together and celebrate your entire nonprofit community. So we've seen a lot of giving days do that, and it's not only effective for the nonprofits, but it brings supporters together. It really shows people the benefit of being a part of the movement, and makes them remember it again next year because they remember being in a physical space with all of those people who are supporting the organization. And then lastly, just keeping in mind a lot of the things we chatted about today. Try to find opportunities to engage with your community and your supporters, leveraging what's already happening at your organization to utilize the I'll Give movement to build off that momentum, and thinking again about all those things we talked about at the beginning of the presentation. What works for you, what works for your organization and your staff, what works for your supporters. Keeping all of those things in mind as you develop a strategy is going to make it so much easier for you as you get closer to I'll Give on Giving Tuesday, so that you can be successful and everyone can help you get there. And then of course, start as early as you can so that this process is as easy as possible, so that on I'll Give on Giving Tuesday, like I said, if you haven't participated in the board, or if you have, it is such a fun 24-hour event from beginning to end. There's so much going on. There's lots to do. We want you to be able to enjoy that and see how people are reacting to your campaign, instead of having to focus on the little nitty-gritty details. So try to plan ahead. Think of how you can really leverage all of these materials and your supporters in a way that's going to build off the I'll Give momentum and help your supporters get behind what you're already working towards. And then lastly, if you ever have any questions or need a hand leading up to or on I'll Give, please reach out to our customer success team at GiveGab. We are always happy to help and answer any questions you might have about I'll Give, about GiveGab, about giving days, whether it's technical or strategy. We really are always here to help. And our team is available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, to answer any questions you have. And during that time, we do typically respond in under 5 minutes. So we really want to help you when you need help. But if you write in and we aren't around, please check out our Help Center. There are lots of how-to articles, best practices there to make getting ready for I'll Give as easy as possible. There's also a ton of resources in your I'll Give Nonprofit Toolkit on allgive.com. If you haven't checked out yet, please take a look. There are so many great tools in there to help make this planning process, again, as easy as possible for you, from email templates to sample social media posts to pretty much you name it, you can find it in that toolkit. So please check out those resources, and if there's anything that you find that you really think would be helpful or that you think is lacking, please let us know. We're always looking for ways to improve this toolkit, especially as we continue to build on I'll Give and make it even better for nonprofits every year. So next steps, if you haven't already registered for I'll Give, make sure that you get registered so that you can continue to receive updates. You can start working on that profile, build a presence, get your campaign up and running. Of course, make sure to follow I'll Give on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They are always sharing out awesome content and important updates about I'll Give on Giving Tuesday so that you know exactly what you need to be doing, when those important deadlines are, and also some really fun inspiration as you prepare for the Giving Day. Checking your emails for important I'll Give updates, making sure you're staying in the loop, making sure you're following all those instructions, adding your bank account, making sure you're verified to participate in I'll Give, all of that good stuff to make sure you're ready to go for the day. Again, heading to that nonprofit toolkit, which if you haven't used it yet, I promise it will be your best friend leading up to I'll Give. And then keep an eye out for those other I'll Give training sections. The next one is about getting your board on board, and that will be Wednesday, September 13th from 1 to 2. So please sign up for that one if you haven't already. And keep an eye out on the I'll Give site for even more training sessions. These are pre-recorded training videos that will be posted soon, so you'll be able to kind of pick a la carte based on what you're interested in, what you're looking to do, so that you can learn more about that topic in your own time. With that, we'll open the floor to any questions that you have about I'll Give, about Giving Tuesday, about some of the campaigns you might be thinking about. And if you think of anything, again, after our presentation time today, please let me know by using that little chat bubble, and our team is happy to answer any questions you have. Oh, someone asked about the time for getting your board on board. It's actually October 13th from 1 to 2. My apologies. From 1 to 2 on October 13th. That's when that getting your board on board training session will be. And we're going to be adding links to that to register on the I'll Give site today, so you will be able to register for that there by the end of day today. All right, it doesn't look like we have any, someone said this presentation will be available in the toolkit. We will be posting the recording on that trainings page on allgive.com, so you will be able to find the presentation after. Someone asked about coming up with low cost or no cost ideas for promotion. That's a great question. If you don't have a large promotional budget, I think social media is a great way to kind of build on your campaign. It doesn't cost any money to post on social media. It really just takes the time that you want to put into it. It's probably the most expensive resource is really your time. So thinking about how you can leverage the time that you have in the best way possible, whether it's through social media, reaching out to your supporters. Maybe you have one supporter who is on your board, they have a ton of followers, or they always donate this time of year. Maybe focusing it on that one person who can really help your momentum, and asking them to do whether it's share out your page or provide a matching fund. Just that one action can actually help all of your promotions, even if you don't have that many, be a lot more effective. So no matter what you're putting into that promotion, how much time you're putting into it, it does have a big value add, so that you're not spending too much time getting supporters to want to engage because it's already so engaging. Someone asked, they have a fundraiser a few weeks before All Give on Giving Tuesday. They don't want to, separate donors between that event and All Give or overwhelm them. I would say, if you are having, multiple events, you definitely don't want to overwhelm your donors too much. I think if the event is happening before All Give, maybe utilizing that time in between as a way to acknowledge those donors for their support, letting them know that All Give is happening, maybe mentioning, the prize incentives or any matching funds that you might be available for, or, securing a match specifically for All Give to make it kind of a separate event. Doing something that doesn't make it feel like you're just asking them to support you again. And targeting those who don't support that fundraiser. Maybe you have people who aren't actively participating in that, whatever it might be, and you can leverage those on All Give. Maybe those who are more social savvy, or those who really those who really enjoy giving online. They like the convenience of it and prefer participating in that way. So you don't necessarily have to connect them, but definitely think about those few weeks in between, how you're going to communicate with those donors, not overwhelm them in a way that still shows the different opportunity that All Give might provide. It doesn't look like there are any more questions at the moment. We'll stick around for a few more minutes. Again, if you have any other questions, please reach out to our customer success team using that little blue chat bubble, and a member of our team will be happy to answer those questions for you, or talk strategy, talk tech, whatever you need to make sure that you're ready to go. Please use that little blue chat bubble. Just like that nonprofit toolkit, it will probably be your best friend come All Give. Someone asked if they need to set up a bank account on All Give. Yes, so in order to participate in All Give and collect donations through allgive.com, you do need to add your bank account information through GiveGab, through our payment processor Stripe. And this allows us to, verify every organization that signs up for All Give, make sure that they are, registered to fundraise in all the right places, that they're eligible to receive those tax-deductible donations. And it also allows us to direct deposit all the donations you receive on All Give right into your bank account every 24 to 48 hours of you receiving them. So you do have a really quick turnaround time. But in order to be featured on allgive.com and have a donate button on your profile on Giving Tuesday, you do need to add that bank account information so that we can verify you and make sure you're good to go.
All right, I'm not seeing any more questions at the moment, so I hope everyone enjoyed today's webinar and found it useful, and join us for more learning opportunities in the future. You can see what's coming up on our website at myforefront.org, and for AlGive, check out the AlGive training page for the webinars that are coming up. Thanks again, everyone, for joining.